want any more details to any of this stuff, if you even continued watching and got to this point, because now it has been 2 hours that I've been talking, my gosh, how I can go on and ramble. If you want to know any more details about any of these things, what I actually loved about them specifically, or what I actually hated about them specifically, or about the characters, about the dramas, about any kind of things like that, if you want any more details, or if you want to know any of, because I told you the number of dramas I watched, and clearly I didn't mention them all, if you want to know about any of the other ones I watched, let me know and I can make a video about any of those things. Oh, you're just gonna stay up there instead of coming down, are you? I started recording so I could get her when she jumped up, because I could tell she was about to jump up. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you watch all of it and enjoy at least some of it. I didn't actually write a script for this, just kind of a list. And so it's probably going to be a little bit messy, but if you have ever watched any of my other videos, you should know by now that most of my videos are messy. But I just all of a sudden up and decided that would be kind of fun to do a few days ago, because it's the new year. Happy New Year, even though it's like the 4th already. Cutie. It's the new year, and for some reason I've got over 100 subscribers now. It's 115 subscribers. I think a lot of people are strange. I've got a couple of music videos up, and everybody seems to be watching those, or part of them, and subscribing to my channel, and I'm like, you didn't watch any of my other videos, did you? You just watched 1 or 2 of the music videos and decided to subscribe. I don't understand this. Yes, I want to be making more music videos and uploading music videos, but music videos are one of the rarest because they're one of the hardest to do. Because I have to wait for a song to inspire me at the same time as I have a drama that inspires me, and they actually fit each other. So waiting for inspiration and then focus to actually make a music video and then upload it and hope that it doesn't get automatically struck so that you can't see it. What's that? So what I wanted to do, like, there's people, like, they call them booktubers, people who read books and then they like review books on YouTube, and they like do year-end wrap-ups or whatever. So I'm someone that's like, I critique and review dramas, especially like the Asian dramas, because that's I watch the Japanese and Korean and Chinese, and I very rarely watch anything English anymore, especially new English stuff. So I like doing that stuff. So a few days ago, I decided maybe it'd be fun to do a kind of wrap-up review of the dramas that I watched, the dramas and movies that I watched in 2022. Because I made a list, because I have this book that I write everything down in that I see. And of course it's got stuff from 2021, because that's when that book was started, 2021. 2022, I wrote down everything, and it looks like in 2022, things I rewatched. There was 1 Chinese drama that I rewatched that I had previously watched in 2021. And then there was 3 Japanese dramas that I rewatched. And in every case, they're more like a rewatch, because I've watched them multiple times, and 1 Japanese movie that I rewatched. So, and then there's 3 dramas that I'm still in the middle of, that I started in 2021. And one of them I purposely put on hold, but we'll actually get there. And 2 of them kind of accidentally put on hold, because they're the ones, Detective D is one of them, that I can't find English subtitles for most of the drama. So it's very slow going, and it depends on whether I feel like sitting there and having most of the drama go woo over my head or not. And one of them, it's even more frustrating. It's called Caught in the Heartbeat, and I was enjoying it, but for some reason, people decided to sub it for 26 out of 40 episodes and then drop it. Why would you get that far in a drama with subtitles and then drop it? And it kind of looks like 2 different teams were subbing it, and both of them dropped it. What for? So it's really frustrating on that one, because now we're going to finally get into like what's going on and all the answers of the drama that they've been like going through the whole thing, the mystery that's going on, and I'm not going to be able to understand it. Dramas that I actually dropped, there were 8, sort of 9 dramas that I ended up dropping for one or another reason. Most of them, like some of them I will be mentioning more in detail. Some of them I have mentioned before. Cat, you looking? Blech. It's alright, you don't need to see my tongue. Cat! She's like this. Japanese things that I have not been watching very much of lately. I watched one drama and I watched 2 movies, or one of them was like a special. Basically, I think it was the length of an actual episode, but it took me forever to find it and then watch it, and it's actually not full-length movie one. They call them specials. But it was really good. It was basically the 11th episode of that drama. This video is going to have to be like heavily edited because I'm still waking up, and like I say, there's no script, so this is a little bit messy. But that one, it's called Criminologist Himura. I can't remember the rest of the name, and writer, I think his name is Akizawa. It's a fascinating drama, but I'd have to do a whole separate thing for my thoughts on that one. I have many thoughts about it. It's you want to know the differences between Japanese and Korean and Chinese dramas? That's one of the ones that encapsulates one of the distinctively Japanese. Sorry, it shook the desk and it shook everything. One of the distinctively Japanese flavors to dramas, etc. That one right there. So I would have to do an entire video on that one, so I don't mention it anywhere else. Korean stuff, I ended up watching 8 dramas and 2 movies, and some of them, quite a few of them, will be mentioned in a little bit. And then, because this was basically, this year or last year? Last year was when I signed up for Aichi, so I got into the Chinese dramas because that's mainly, like, it's a Chinese drama website. And they do have Korean and Japanese stuff on there, but it's mostly Chinese. So, because I signed up there to watch a couple of dramas, like I've mentioned before, I was like, I could just sign up for 1 month so I can watch these 2, but then I'm like, well, let's see, before I actually unsign from here, are there any other ones that look interesting? And I've made this whole list, and I'm still on it. So, I got really into the Chinese stuff. In 2022, I watched 27 Chinese dramas and 6 Chinese movies, and 2 of those movies, one of them I watched twice, and one of them I watched like 5 times, and one of those dramas I watched twice. Once by myself, and then once with my sister. So, when I say I got into the Chinese dramas and stuff, I really got into it. This is the same thing that happened when I got into the Japanese dramas and then when I got into the Korean dramas. I just took off and watched, like, so many of them. So, that's the number of stuff that I watched. Temporarily dropped or slow going, there's 3. Entirely dropped, there was 8, sort of 9, and I'll explain that in a bit. Japanese, there was 1 drama, 1 movie, and 1 special. Korean, 8 dramas and 2 movies. And Chinese, 27 dramas and 6 movies. 2 movies multiple times, 1 drama twice. So, to go a little bit more into depth in it now, just for the fun of it, the things that I actually listed, I have, from the year, the favorite characters, guys, and shockingly, there's several girls, and I'll get to why that's shocking in a second if you don't know why that's shocking. And I also have some favorite couples and 2 favorite brother duos. And then I've also got worthy to mention antagonist / bad guy characters. There's dramas that I absolutely hated, or like mostly hated. It's a little complicated. Several that were a bitter disappointment or I had super mixed feelings on. The dramas that I absolutely loved, although I have to say every single one of them, I had problems with them too. Some of them more problems than others, but that's the funny thing. When I hate stuff, I tend to just, like, hate it. And if there's anything in it that I like, it's very minute. Where the stuff that I absolutely love, there tends to be a lot more, like, once you get into the nuances and all that stuff, it's like, okay, I didn't really like this. Okay, you have to ignore that, and, like, I really, really didn't like this, or whatever. Am I the only one like that? I don't know. And then there's some that I want to briefly mention because there's, like, something about it that maybe stuck out or that I loved or something, but it wasn't, like, overall super loved the drama. It was more like okay, we'll get there. Everything that I watched that year means, like, the first thing that I watched, January 3rd, January 3rd, 2022, I started watching The Hunting Genius, Season 1. And the last thing I watched was literally finished on December 31st of 2022. So literally the entire year of 2022. So things that I literally just watched, and which reminds me, I put something on this list that, no, I can't. I had to take that back off the list. I'm not allowed to mention that because I only literally just started watching it on January. Is it January 1st? I don't know, but I can't put that on there because that was this year. So can't talk about that one, which is probably a good thing because it made me really mad. So no talking about it. It's not from 2022. So save you that rant. So anyway, but now how many times have I said so? This is what happens when I first get going and I get really rambly, and it's this is me trying to focus. I have to get scattered whatever thoughts out of the way so that I can actually focus and say what I'm trying to say. My point is, January 3rd all the way until December 31st, that's an entire year. So some of these things, they're not fresh in my brain. I watched a lot of stuff, and then life in general, you know, lots of stuff going on, and I have a bad memory. So this is like, there's lots and lots of things that I get, I have the worst posture ever. Sorry. There's lots and lots of things that I could say, and I probably would want to say if I actually, especially if I rewatched it, or if I like reminded myself of some of this stuff, and plenty of things that I'd probably want to say, but I can't because I don't remember them because it's been too long. So, like I say, this is kind of an overview, and probably the things that were more recent you'll get more of a thought on than other stuff, just as a result of that. Favorite couples are listed first. This list, like, I'm specifically talking about the characters, the couples, and the brother duos here. I'm not talking about the dramas itself yet. So even if I say they're from a drama, don't, like, that's only reference to where they're from. I'm not talking about whether I like the drama or not yet. I'm only talking about the characters here. Ren Jialun and Ying from Hunting Genius. From what I remember, I really liked that couple because there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of teasing and a lot of, they were not exactly friends at the beginning of the show, but they turned into one of the cutest couples ever because Hunting Genius is 3 seasons long. The seasons flow together, so it's like you're watching one long thing. So you watch these characters go, it's not exactly like they're enemies and they hate each other or anything, but Ren Jialun is one of my favorite guys as well, one of my favorite male characters. It's because of his personality type, like nobody really gets along with him at the beginning because he's very closed off, he's not interested in making friends, etc. But when you first start this show, you have no indication that they're going to end up as a couple or anything. It doesn't really, like, when you watch romance dramas or dramas that are focused on romance in any way, you can tell right off the bat who it is that's going to end up together and who's not, even if it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that they're the ones that end up together. You can just tell. This one, I had no indication that anybody was really going to end up together necessarily, especially these two. I had no indication that that was going to be a thing. But they do, spoilers, they do end up together, and they are seriously, by the end of it, all the things they go through and the growth they have when they start talking to each other and like when they start understanding each other and the depth that they go to, it's just, it turns into a beautiful, like, adorable. They are adorable by the end of it. It's so cute. And that's why, because the drama is so long and it wasn't like in your face taking over the drama or anything, and there wasn't any really stupid things that got in their way and they had to work through these kinds of things. It was just a natural progression of two people getting to know each other because they spend so much time together and because of what they're doing and all the rest of this stuff, and they see each other like interacting with other people as well as each other and all this kind of stuff. So it was really well done in terms of growing together, just naturally growing and becoming a couple. As individuals, they grew a lot through that drama. And then as a couple, they just naturally grew together. And it was so cute. And that's why they're one of my favorite couples. Then you also have the Crown Prince and Ye Jin from Moonshine. Them as a couple, they're again like romance dramas. Like I say, like as soon as you see these two, you know it's them that's going to end up together. That's not, you can't even call that a spoiler because like as soon as you see these two, you know, because romance dramas are always like that. There's always a first couple and there's always at least a secondary couple, if not a thirdary couple as well. This is the secondary couple in it. They're in very regularly, most of the time, in romance dramas, there is some kind of love triangle for a whole bunch of episodes, and then one of them breaks away and ends up with somebody else instead. This is like the typical, this is why I don't like romance dramas, because for one thing, I hate love triangles. And then for another thing, they always follow the same patterns and use the same things, and don't get me started on that. I'm not supposed to be talking about that. The Crown Prince and Ye Jin. It is so cute. I'm telling you. Ye Jin, I had mixed feelings on her from the start because she's like only falling in love with people because they have a beautiful face. Like, you are so shallow, girl. So ridiculously shallow. But the further it went, the more I'm like, okay, you're ridiculously shallow, but at the same time, she's like one of the smartest people in the whole show. And the way she finally ends up with the Crown Prince and some of the things she says to him. And at the one point, I think she slapped him. And I was like, you go, girl. You were like, the way she handled the Crown Prince and the way she got his head on straight and everything she did with him and all the things they're so cute. Again, by the end of the drama, those two are adorable. So cute. Melt heart adorable. And then these three I'll just briefly mention because I've talked about them in other videos. Liu Yi and Jinja from Under the Power, Shang Chen and Shi Yi from One and Only, Ji Chang and Yi Bing from Blue Flame Assault. Those three are also three of my 2022... I'm sorry for all the noise. My cat is being really playful all of a sudden, the one that was up here on the chair. 2022 favorite couples, those three are also obviously three of my favorite couples. So you can go and watch my couples video from Ren Jialun if you want to know why. Specifically with those three, because this is going to be long enough, even without going into, I already said that, about people. So then there is Zhao Fang and Anlan from Crossfire. Mainly, I think in that one, it's because, I mean, like, trust and communication and all of this stuff when it comes to couples is a huge thing to me. It drives me absolutely insane when people just decide to do things on their own. Well, I'm doing it all for you, so it's okay. They just assume things and they just decide things without talking to this other person that they supposedly love so much. And it's like, if you're taking all the decisions into your own hand and not talking to the other person about it first and finding out what their actual opinion of it is, and you just... No. And I'm currently all of a sudden thinking about the drama that I just finished and had to skip through a whole bunch of the other stuff on it I'm not supposed to mention because it's not a 2022 drama. But Zhao Fang and Anlan, again, like, it took a while for that romance to really start going, and there would be too many spoilers to mention too much of it. I mean, it's already a spoiler to say they end up together, really. You know anything about Crossfire, it is a spoiler to say they end up together. On one hand. On the other hand, if you've watched enough dramas, you can tell they're the ones that are going to end up together. If he's still alive. Crossfire, it's all about playing this game, and the character from the past and the present actually connect. So they're like, it's literally a crossing time thing, where through this game, the future and the present can talk to each other, and the whole of everything keeps getting changed because of this. But anyway, I'm not supposed to be talking about this show. And there was a few problems along the way, but they're pretty cute. They're one of my favorite couples. They're not like the number one favorites because I did have issues with some of the stuff, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff they go through is believable. The last favorite couple that I have listed here is Zhao Bao and Ying Yao from Truth or Dare. There again, see, the communication is key. That couple is kind of weird because that drama is weird. It took like 3,000 years to really get into the story of Zhao Bao and Ying Yao. I had to focus on the other dumb couple that made me like really furious so many times over because it was so stupid. Talk about no communication whatsoever. He is like telling her things and she's not listening to him at all. She's just flying off with what her own... But wrong couple. I didn't like that couple. I mean, they were cute in places, and like I am glad they ended up together or whatever, but I got so insanely frustrated with both of them as individuals and them as a couple. So Zhao Bao and Yin Yao were not done just by. They were not in that drama enough. Their story was way too minute and way too off to the side, and it was frustrating because when you actually start focusing on them and their relationship building and how they like, it was truth from the start. Like, she's like, I'm not interested in a relationship at all. And like, there was only one thing she hid from him. And there was a very good reason why she was hiding that. The fact that she is Yin Yao, not I forget her name, even though they said it 3,000 times in the drama. It's been too long. Only a few months, but whatever. What was I saying? There's only the one thing that she didn't tell him, but all the rest of it, she is so upright, upfront, and honest about, and he is so intensely honest with his feelings. Like, he is like one of the most honest people ever, despite the fact that he's literally a bandit. He is so honest, and she's honest too. So like, their entire, like, the other couple is entirely based on lies, and it takes like 3,000 years before they're honest with each other about anything whatsoever. They're just so dishonest with each other. There's so much distrust and so much dishonesty and like no respect whatsoever from the girl to the guy, etc., etc., etc. They have so many issues. But Xiao Bao and Ying Yao, it's entirely 100% based on honesty. Like I say, there's only the one thing she hid from him, and she had to. Her life depended on hiding that. But she's so honest with him with everything else that, like, they're cute. They're adorable by the end of the drama. Not like gushingly melt all over the place with some of these other couples were, but like they were pretty cute in the end, and I just so appreciate the fact that it was so honest all the way through. And then there's two brother duos that I really liked. Well, there's kind of three, because Love a Lifetime, there's also Nalan Yue, and I forget his brother's name. I really liked those two. They're cool. They're a cool duo. They were hilarious in many places too. So that's an honorable mention. And then there's Budan and Dapan from Detective. And if you watched my series on that one, you'd know why they're a favorite brotherly duo. When Budan is going through the hardest struggles, and Dapan doesn't even have to say anything. He's just there with his arm around him to support him and encourage him. And like, that's a real friendship. They're so cute. And then there's Yi Chang and Xiao Zhang from Autumn Cicada. I absolutely love those two as well. They are so cool together. They are like the amount of planning and plotting and they're both so smart, and like they communicate so well. And then there's like so many places it was hilarious given their personalities and what was happening. I absolutely loved it. But really, I talked about Autumn Cicada in another video, so I don't remember if I talked much about those two. But really, this video is long enough without going repeat stuff, so like go watch the Autumn Cicada video for them. And Detective, it's a whole lot longer because I went episode by episode, but you can, my thoughts on them are in that series too. So then, my favorite male characters in 2022, there's Lin Yuan-su from Hunting Genius. And when characters, basically what makes me end up loving them so much, some of it is just like my personal preference, the kind of person I'm drawn to. But also, aside from being smart, and I mean like not necessarily like high IQ intelligence, but like just being smart and like being honest and like proper communication with people, and like the growth. It's a big thing for me when characters grow. Like, when they stagnate, or when they, like, go down instead of growing, when they, like, digress, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not attracted to characters like that at all. People in general, like, in life, sometimes we do have, like, stagnation or digression, but, like, people have to stay within character. And in a lot of dramas and stuff, I feel like people are, like, digressing and becoming idiots, or whatever. I don't like characters like that. Now all of a sudden my cats hate each other again. Favorite guys. Lin Yuan-su from Hunting Genius. He grows so much, but while growing, he still stays within character, and that's one of the key things that makes a character someone that I love. He grows, but he stays within character while he's growing. His humor is one of those ones that's like low key, because he doesn't really get excited about stuff in a like whatever he does everything like low key, and you have to like, he's subtle. He's very subtle. His personality is very subtle. You think you know things and you get annoyed at him because whatever, but then you start really paying attention to what he's doing and saying, and you're like, wait, he's got so much depth to him. Like, I love that guy. And he like grows throughout the drama while staying true to his character as well. And then there's Hyuk from Dark Go Rewind. He's one of those kind of characters that like, that's another thing that makes me hate characters, is when they're set up as this, they're introduced this way, and I'm told that they're like this, and then everything within the drama is always like showing me that they're actually down here somewhere. Like when the character's introduced as someone that's like super strong or super smart or like super good at fighting or like whatever, but during the drama they start fighting, they're constantly getting beaten to a pulp. They can't win a single fight, let alone doing it really coolly. And then maybe the first time you see them, they do, and then every other time they're like pathetic. C characters in Under the Power. Side characters. Or like when they're introduced as like super smart and super intelligent and super clever and all that stuff, but like everything they do throughout the drama is like, you're the biggest idiot ever. What are you talking about, clever and smart? Like, see the drama I just finished that I can't mention because it's not a 2022 drama. Oh yeah, she's very clever and smart in these areas, but in this area, she's the biggest idiot in the world. I'm like, are you kidding me? So much for that thought. Hyuk from Dokgo Rewind, he's one of those guys that's introduced as like the strongest guy on the block, like when it comes to like physically fighting. And he himself like doesn't talk much. He says this much and then stops talking. And then people attack him and he beats them to a pulp. Like, he really is what they set him up to be. And I'm like, I love that. When they're set up as something and then they prove that's what they really are. And then sometimes they prove it even more than you expected them to. I don't like group fights. Like, that's one of those dramas where you get, like, there's a ton of group fights where there's, like, multiple people just mob beating each other up. And I'm like, this is so boring and so stupid. I hate this. But the one-on-one fights in that one, some of them were, like, really cool. Especially when Hyuk was fighting. There was other characters in that one that I really liked, too. But, like, he was super cool. Then there's Pang Yi-loon from One and Another Him. Again, so much growth in that character. He was kind of childish at the start. He was like really childish and like kind of self-centered, but he grows so much in that drama. He matures so much in that drama. And then that is one of those dramas that, well, it's in a brief mention of, so I'll get there. But Pang Yi-loon was definitely like my favorite character in that drama. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where there's a lot of comedy going on and he's pretty funny. But it's also, like I say, he's got so much maturity. He's like literally the most mature character in that entire drama. He's even more mature than a couple of the adults, I tell you. He is so much more mature than like a bunch of the adults by the end of that drama. And he's like really cool because of that. He's like so strong and like strong in personality, not necessarily strong in fighting because it's not a fighting drama. And then there's just like brief mention, go and watch my videos on them to find out why. There's Nalan Yue from Love a Lifetime, Lu Yi from Under the Power, and Shang Chun from One and Only. Obviously, those are three of my favorite guy characters from 2022. Go watch my videos on them to find out why. And then since I'm saying go watch my other videos to find out why, there's also Jang Yolo from Killer and Healer. He's one of my favorites. Different type of favorite with him. That one's, but go and watch my video on that one for specifically wanting him. Then three other ones that were favorite characters, or favorite male characters of 2022. There's Xiao Fang from Crossfire. Sorry, okay. I really like Lu Han as an actor. He is one of my favorite actors, even though I haven't seen him as much. I tend to really like his characters, even if I hate the dramas he's in. Sisyphus. Yeah! But Lu Han is a good actor. And I really liked his character from Xiao Fang. Talk about mature! Talk about so cool. Like, even though everybody else in his group and stuff back then, like, so many of them were immature idiots or whatever, he himself is so mature, and then everything that he went through, oh my word! I got really annoyed at him near the end of the drama because, as far as I'm concerned, he did something really stupid. I understand the reasoning for why he was doing it. He was supposedly trying to make a point or something, but I'm like, you let that go on for way too long, and it's kind of a spoiler, so technically I shouldn't be, but whatever. I was really annoyed at him, and technically I think he was taken out of character to do that part, but cats! Maybe only a shade out of character. But anyway, like, I start talking about stuff and then I think of stuff, and this is why it gets all messy. Xiao Fang from Crossfire. I really liked him. He was super cool. I love that one part where they tell me or it's just like, it's a game, so it's pretty funny. Yeah, spoilers. And then from Truth or Dare, Xiao Bao. I already said. He's like really cool too. He's adorable. Like, seriously, that kid is adorable. And I can call him a kid because I don't remember how old the actor is, but the character, as far as I know, is supposed to be fairly young. Like early 20s or late teens or something. So, I call him a kid. He's adorable. He himself, like, he is a super strong fighter. Watching him fight is like really cool. But he's also just his personality. Like, he's like, seriously, he's a bandit, and yet he's one of the most honest people I've ever seen. He is so flippin' honest with everything. Like, Heart on his sleeve. He's so cute. And then there's Shen-Yi from Under the Skin. I kind of just added him. I wasn't sure whether I should call him a favorite character of 2022 or not, but yeah, like Shen-Yi from Under the Skin, and I'll get into Under the Skin. And then there's my favorite girls from 2022. And the reason that it's funny that I have favorite girls from 2020, or favorite girls period, if you've ever seen any of my videos, I'm positive I've mentioned it before, where I don't tend to really like the girls because TV likes to, like, you know, there's the strong female characters. Most of them, that's not a strong female character. That is wishy-washy, self-centered, hypocritical, manipulative, hormonal. Another topic. So I tend to like the guys more often than the girls because the guys are portrayed better or something. They usually make wiser decisions. Or something. I don't know. Anyway, I am definitely way more drawn to liking male characters than I am to female characters, and I think there's multiple reasons why, and I'm still sort of trying to figure it out. You sort of have ideas why, but I also sort of don't have a clue why. But either way, I'm kind of shocked by how many girls are on this list, but at the same time, 3 of them I've already mentioned to you in my other dramas if you want to watch them. There's Jinja from Under the Power, there's Shi from One and Only, and there's Yibing from Blue Flame Assault. Even putting the couple thing aside, even if you take the guy out of the way, I really liked those female characters. And I did explain at least a little bit why in my couples video, because it kind of went through the girls in that one, in that video. So if you want to know, go watch that. But then there's 3 other girls that I kind of forgot about that I can also list as favorite female characters from 2022. There is the actress that plays Jinja from Under the Power. I was also watching the drama V8. I ended up dropping it for reasons, but she plays in that one as well. She plays Ji Shui, if I'm saying that right. It's been a while since I saw it, and I don't remember exactly how they pronounce it. She played that girl in there as well. I absolutely love her hair. My word, I love her hair. It is so cool. And like the whole way she dresses and everything. I love her costume. But her character is adorable. And her character is also pretty strong. And her character is also pretty smart. Like I say, when a character is introduced as something and then they fall completely flat, you know, she's introduced as something and she lives up to it. She makes a couple of dumb decisions. And there was, I think, at least one point when I was kind of really annoyed at her. But again, those are within her character because her character is somewhat naive because she did grow up rather enclosed in this space over here. So she doesn't know a whole lot about the world. So when she goes out and gets into the world and starts seeing all these things and all this, she's kind of like a little kid. And that's wise because she grew up like so apart from the world. So when she gets out there and she's being like a little kid, she's pretty adorable. And some of the times I think I cannot remember his name, the main guy, I think he was being harder on her than he needed to be. And I'm not entirely sure why he was doing that. Part of it I think is just a protective thing because he didn't want her getting hurt anymore. And part of it I'm like, dude, she's not as dumb as you're claiming she is right now. That wasn't really that dumb of a move. But anyway, I really liked her. And then there's also Lin Chuan from Critical World. I was originally going to do like a series of other videos on that one, and I actually ended up filming some of them, and I think I even edited some of them, and then I never uploaded them to videos. So at the moment, there's only 2 videos up on YouTube that talked about Critical World, and they were kind of an overview of things you won't find in a good story, I think is what I called them. So I can't remember how much I talked about Lin Chuan from Critical World, but I really liked her character. That is a strong female character. Lin Chuan is a strong female character. She's really cool. She's very wise. Like, wise. That's a slightly different word from smart. Wise includes knowing how to apply the knowledge that you have. She has lots of knowledge and she knows how to apply it. She's a very wise woman. And she's strong. She lives up to what they say. She's strong. And then there's also Gu Ying from Tungsten Mystic 1. And I say 1 because there's 2 seasons of Tungsten Mystic. And I'll get into what distinguishes those 2 from each other in a little bit here. But Gu Ying from 1, T Mystic 1, I really liked her. She was hilarious. And like, again, talk about like, that's a real strong female character. She is set up as this and this. These are her talents. This is what she's like. This is what she's good at. And throughout the entire drama, this is another thing with the women, with the female characters. Quite regularly, they're only good and strong because the men are idiots. And the men are not talented. Like, they have to bring the men down in order to put the women up. So many dramas do that. I am not making this up. They purposely push the men down into making them weak idiots or whatever, and that's the only reason that the women are strong, is because the men are weak idiots. In T-Mystic, the men are strong and smart and cool, and she is like on par with them. She has her skills. She's the one that's actually good at physically fighting. These two have other qualities that make them unique and really strong, and these are her qualities that make her unique and strong, and they work really well together as a trio of characters. And I just really like Gu Ying from T-Mystic 1. We'll get there to T-Mystic 2. So those are my favorite female characters from 2022. And then I have to mention two bad guy / antagonist. I think antagonist is actually a better word, because in both these cases, they're kind of not really the bad guys. I mean, one of them, he kind of is. So, of course, Qin Huiyan from Legend of Chusen / Noble Aspirations. I've done plenty of things with opinions on him if you want to go and watch any of those. But yes, he's a bad guy. And I was going to put that in quotes, but I can't. He is a bad guy because he did murder at least 2 people. And he had a hand in murdering one other. And they were all innocent people that didn't deserve to die. And he murdered them or helped murder them. So he is a bad guy. And then there's Chaemin from My Strange Hero. He's an antagonist. I did put one video up talking about that drama. I don't know how many people have watched it or how many people are interested. But Chaemin, I felt so bad for that guy in My Strange Hero. He's the one that's considered the bad guy throughout the thing, and I think he was done so dirty. That's one of the things that made me furious at My Strange Hero. That one, I think I mentioned it somewhere, so I won't go there yet. But either way, Chaemin himself, he's one of the most understandable, and you can't really call him a bad guy. He's an antagonist, because he was attempting something that was, unfair, and is twisted, and is horrible, but at the same time, you really understand what got him there, because all of this is a misunderstanding. And he's one of those people, like Qin Huiyan, Chaemin is one of those people where he's just screaming for help, and he goes completely unnoticed. That one's complicated. That whole My Strange Hero, I felt so bad for that guy. So he's a favorite bad guy / antagonist that's hard to forget. So then, I'm not sure what order to do this in here. I've got the hated dramas, the bitter disappointment / super mixed feelings dramas, the loved dramas, and the brief mention dramas.